Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about addiction. Gambling is the big hot button right now, and I know some of you're not too happy with me for reading certain ads, and I just want to say all will be revealed soon. And it's okay. I understand why you're upset, but just know Papa had to make some choices, okay? Sometimes you gotta take one for the team, all right? Literally. Well, that's not the focus of today's video. Addiction comes in many forms. Gambling on football, baseball, European soccer, women's ping pong. But it's not just, sports with balls. It's also sports with pucks, hockey. Hockey. Well, there's plenty of other addictions out there. Honey packs, gas station carts, nose candy. But sometimes addiction comes in a really odd format. It's vertical. And it's got really bad dialogue. And you might have seen it advertised on TikTok, and you're going, is this porn?
Go, born, go. Go, born, go.
What I'm referring to are micro dramas. They take a 72-minute feature film, if you can even call it that, which I'll get into later, and they break it down into 1 to 2 minute snippets, and you literally scroll through the movie, right? Or scroll through the show, whatever it is. Now, anyone might look at this. I know some of you might say, oh, this is stupid. You have to be a fucking moron to like this. And I'm going to get to you later. Now, I think it's worth mentioning, if you look at the financial aspect of these companies, Exploded doesn't even do it justice. I mean, some of these numbers, I don't know, they look like hedge funds or the beginnings of an AI company. I mean, look at this. This is from an article in June. Many drama apps have exploded from a Chinese curiosity. Sam, what does a Chinese curiosity look like? Let me know.
No!
To a U.S. 100 million a month habit. These microdramas are netting $100 million a month. And I can say, anecdotally, there's no article for this, but just living out here in L.A. and talking to different actors, producers, whoever, the amount of people that went to film school with the goal of working on huge projects like Dune or Dune 2.
What do we do?
They've had to let that dream go. Because now their degree is only good for microdramas. And I don't think that's a good thing. These microdrama companies have gotten so powerful that the actor and writers unions have to basically accept them. They have to bend the knee and go, okay, this work counts as union work, because literally everyone is flocking to go work there. It's the only place you can get paid in TV and film right now. By the way, guys, I got to let you know I'm touring Canada all this month, and I'm doing other cities the week following. But yeah, buy a ticket now to noelmillerlive.com. Anyways, back to the app. Microdramas are bite-sized episodes that are meant for mobile vertical viewing. They got their start in China during the pandemic, but have expanded to the U.S., where revenues reached $819 million in 2024 and are projected to rise to $3.8 billion by 2030. While non-union, when you work on a big Hollywood project, it's typically a union job, and that's just short for the job is sanctioned by the union, SAG-AFTRA, and that means you got certain protections, right? Now look, I don't want to get any heat legally, so I'm just going to say I have heard allegedly, anecdotally, that working on one of these microdrama jobs can be not so pleasant because they're non-union. They're very run and gun, meaning it's just like small budget and they're just shooting it out over a short period of time. From what I've seen online, I guess the typical range of production is anywhere from 100K to 300K. I don't even trust those numbers because who knows what it ends up being at the end of the day, but it's not a lot of money in. And you can tell when you look at this shit. And just to back up what I'm saying, here's a source. Microdramas offer decent pay and the ability to work in Los Angeles, and in most instances, they appear to be the only game in town that's routinely hiring on any given day. A majority of casting calls on breakdown services are for short-form dramas that can be accessed by consumers via free apps until it's time to subscribe. Oh, how about that? My number is validated in this this article. Per SAG-AFTRA, the vertical agreement covers productions with budgets under $300,000 and is tailored to address the fast pace and tight budgets of vertical storytelling while maintaining strong protections for SAG-AFTRA members. Now, as I say all this, I'm assuming a lot of you're not privy to, or maybe you haven't even seen the covers of what these films look like or what these shows look like. And it's pretty amazing if you take a step back to think a company, a U.S. company, in 5 years made the biggest Hollywood union bend the knee and say, okay, your productions are now accepted by our union. Because mind you, when you make a digital production in Los Angeles, you're just, I don't know, you're a little bastard child. You're not one of the chosen ones. You're the ugly cousin trying to do something. And the big bad union goes, hey, put that little f***ing camera away. You're not an artist. You're a piece of shit. But now these god-awful junk feature films have made the big bad prestigious Hollywood world say, all right, you can be part of the club. Now again, I'm assuming a lot of you are not privy to, or you're not even looked into this stuff. So I did, because I was wondering, how exactly do they make all this money? And if you're in this boat of never having looked at one of these films and you've just kind of scrolled past these ads, I'm going to show you what you're dealing with here. But first, I need to take a moment to talk about something called inshitification. Now, inshitification is a catch-all term generally for tech, specifically tech platforms. And it's the sort of gradual, intentional eroding of quality, for, let's say, I don't know, a subscription platform of some kind. But I think this term extends to everything. You'll see videos about the inshitification of cars. I think a really great example of inshitification is Samsung. Recently, they were talking about running ads in your Samsung smart fridge, which is awesome, because I've always wanted to have the gas station ads in my kitchen, because then someone I'm living with who is actually addicted to gas station carts and has turned into a crackhead is standing in my kitchen going, hey man, can you help me? I need $5 and I can't feel my body. The honey pack has made me really hard and I'm really scared. But I think a lot of us have, noticed, because we're big noticers on this channel, that media has been inshitified, right? For years, I've ranted about Apple TV shows and how I felt that they were essentially podcasts because you could totally tune them out. I want to shout out a viewer who sent me a snippet of a Patrick CC video, which features an article by Will Tavlin called Casual Viewing: Why Netflix Looks Like That. I felt pretty schizophrenic saying this to people, like I was giving some dumb person's observation, but turns out I'm not crazy. Check this out. This is going to be a bit of a long read, but just follow me to the end. High output alone can't account for Netflix's garbage quality. These are Will's words, okay? I'm putting Will's words in my mouth. What? In the 1920s and 30s, studios like Paramount and Warner Bros. Put out as many as 70 movies per year. Around its peak in the 90s, Miramax tried releasing a new film almost every week. The difference between Netflix and its predecessors is that older studios had a business model that rewarded cinematic expertise and craft. Netflix, on the other hand, is staffed by unsophisticated executives who have no plan for their movies and view them with contempt. Cindy Holland, the first employee Sarandros hired, who eventually served as vice president of original content, once compared Netflix's rapacious DVD acquisition strategy to, quote, shoveling coal in the side door of the house. This remained true as Netflix ramped up its original film production. In researching this essay, I was told by sources about 2 high-level Netflix executives who have been known to greenlight projects without reading the scripts at all, which is awesome. Here's a tongue twister. Such slipshod filmmaking works for the streaming model, since audiences at home are often barely paying attention. Several screenwriters who have worked for the streamer told me a common note from company executives is, have this character announce what they're doing so that viewers who have this program on in the background can follow along. So if Netflix is doing it, then obviously a big company like Apple is accounting for this as well. Now, honestly, this isn't that crazy because soap operas are written this way. Soap operas started on radio, and then when they transitioned to TV, I think there was a point where soap operas were ran on radio and television, but then I think they eventually, landed on this, business theory. People are watching soap operas during the day, so they're probably doing things, and they need to be able to look away from the television. And in a time where people just screen max 24/7, then yeah, it makes sense that you have to write a TV show so that people can look away. But again, I think this falls more in the category of inshitifying TV. Now, if you sit down and watch, say, I think Silo on Apple TV is a really good example of this, where the show, you just feel pretty quickly that you don't actually have to watch any of it. You can be on another screen the whole time and keep track with the show. It actually got so annoying for Alina because we would watch it together, and she would go, "Why the fuck do you keep looking away from the TV?" And then at one point I said, "I know everything that's happening." And when I regurgitated the plot, she then noticed, "Oh wait, you don't have to watch this at all." And I just completely ruined the show for the both of us. But I want you to remember this for later, because now I need to get back to Real Short. How the fuck does Real Short make, what is it, $1 gajillion by 2030? Well, first I think you need to see what the fuck is on the Real Short platform. Now, before I show you any titles, let's just look at the categories that are available on platform. Billionaire, doctor, surgeon, dancer, office worker, janitor, alpha, damsel, protective husband, single mom, single dad. And I mean, why not just pull the mask off? Hot daddy DILF. Now, here's an interesting thing about the platform. They let you filter content by story beats. So features of the actual script. You know, things you're looking for in a story like surrogate bride, step siblings, neighbors, pregnancy. Genius babies? What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? If it's not readily apparent to you, a lot of this stuff just plays like softcore. And if you're not getting the point, I'll just read you a few titles. Pregnant by my ex's dad. Pucked and pregnant. Remember what I said about being addicted to hockey? I didn't even plan for that. By the way, when you log into the Real Short app, besides all these, horny stories, like this one, just straight up DILFs. Holy moly. They also, a huge category is Asian. And I know that they're targeting Asian users, but I don't know why it's just jarring to separate it out. Like, here's all this other media, and then the Asian part. Because let's face it, most media is racially driven. Anyways, now the primary audience for this app is the ladies, 25 to 44 years old. And just so I have felt informed when talking about this, I went ahead and did my own research.
Looks like you're pregnant with triplets.
That's not possible. He told me he was sterile.
You're actually marrying the homeless guy from New York.
My ex-fiance, Carl.
Now here's the thing. The goal for this app is very clear. They get you all hot and bothered. They get you a little bricked spiritually. And then when you want to get to the part where it's going to get sexy, time to pay. There's an in-app currency where you pay for gold coins, and you got to use these gold coins to unlock the story. People are paying $20 a week, potentially more, just draining their wallets to have enough gold coins to get to the end of Accidental Surrogate for Alpha. It is very obvious why these guys are making billions of dollars. They're, obviously it's very predatory what they're doing. If you look on the Real Short subreddit or just generally people talking about it, there are seemingly full-on sentient adults. These are not necessarily stupid people that are admittedly so addicted to this stuff. You see people confessing. I read one Reddit comment where they go, "I finally confessed to a friend that I am addicted to these." And, the cope that people put on is, well, they're just such a car crash, I can't stop watching. And as if they're sort of distancing themselves from it. Well, I don't like it because it's good. It's just so bad, I can't look away. Now, the business model is very smart. I mean, these guys seem pretty aggressive about copyright. I think that's why people don't post that much about it. It's obviously very horny stuff. I mean, everything is fairly low cut. I watched one about a billionaire janitor, and the first, chapter or the first clip of this movie, I don't even know how you describe this stuff. It feels so fucked. He walks in on a guy porking the principal, or I think it's the other way around, a principal porking the teacher. Either way, even if you look at the thumbnails for their YouTube channel, all the thumbnails are just chests, ladies' chests. Some of these movies, or I guess you would call them shows, what they break down into, it's like hundreds of scrolls. The storytelling is so brutally on the nose. Anyone who watches this stuff does not give a shit about art. And I have no problem saying that. Because it's vertical, you're talking about like cinema, there's no world building. You can't see what's on the left and right of the character. So if they're just shooting generally in a location that you might think is in an action film or a love story or I don't know, just you name it. As long as they have the general vibe of that in the background, you're only focused on the actor. They can literally shoot these things anywhere. They could be in someone's backyard and tell you it's a chateau in France. You would have no clue. And the amount of chapters in a movie or whatever, it's basically anime for, I don't know, horny moms. That's the only way I can describe it. The amount of episodes for, I got fucked by the billionaire alpha, it's rivaling One Piece. Granted, it's not full 30, 40-minute episodes, but the amount of scrolls you got to get through to the end of this potentially letdown of a story, it's a lot. Also, just the acting. It feels very akin to anime. They'll take a girl, and it'll just be inner monologue. Oh my God, there's the school alpha. By the way, I give Real Short a lot of credit for brazenly casting 35-year-olds as high school children. I love that they just don't give a fuck. If people are drinking drinks in these movies, they're definitely not full. You can tell that they just pulled the cups out of the bag and handed it to the actor. They don't give a single shit. And it's kind of incredible that they set this standard where they go, we'll tell you a story, but we don't give a fuck about how we present it. It's going to be Amazon wardrobe, cups we stole from a local Schlotsky's, and, just people. The most regular, run-of-the-mill actors you could find. Ain't nothing special about this. And they don't even let you imagine who is who. They label everyone in the story. As soon as a character enters frame, they give you the first and last name and what their role is in the film. They also don't use any type of creative text or title treatment for this. It is literally all the default fonts in Adobe Premiere. Damn near half of these has got the characters' names in papyrus. Dylan Michaels, high school jock. Natasha Petrie, hot girl. All their productions feel automated as shit. It's crazy. And here's what's crazier to me, man, is when you buy these gold coins that are in-app, you can transfer these coins seemingly to... Matter of fact, if you had to guess what you could use these gold coins for, take a moment. Mobile slot machine game. You're absolutely right. Everything is a fucking slot machine. Every single thing that we consume now is gambling, okay? And again, I know some of you're mad at me for reading some ads. Just know that that's going away soon, okay? Papa had to make a choice, okay? My dignity or the 20 people working for me, okay? That's the choice Papa had to make, all right? The good old media trolley problem. Anyways, now you might be sitting here thinking you're so above a Real Short production. You could never get sucked into $20 a week. No, really. You might be sitting here thinking like, dude, I'm so above this. I could never get sucked in. Well, first of all, someone you know is not telling you that they're drawn into this, because there's no way these guys are making billions of dollars and one of your friends isn't like cripplingly addicted to this stuff. That's one. Two, you're not above it. You are not. I don't want you to go sign up for Real Short. Just go to their YouTube channel. Go to their TikTok. I'm sure you can find something floating out there. Definitely do not illegally stream any of their productions. Do not do that, because they'll be very hurt and offended if you did that. Do not do that. But I want you to go watch even like 10 minutes of that, and then go watch 10 minutes of an Apple TV show or a Netflix show and see, depending on what you choose, the storytelling is exactly the same. It's not much better. There's a good chance you sat through something and you go, oh man, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I like that show. It's no better than a Real Short script. I'm telling you, bro. Because and I say this as someone, I use Silo on Apple TV as an example. I really liked the beginning of that show. I like sci-fi. I'm a goober for sci-fi. I'm a gooner for sci-fi. And I sat through a good couple episodes going, wow, this is such a... Wait a second. I can just listen to this show. And so logically, this leads to a fucked up conclusion, which is a Real Short film is on par with an Apple TV production. And unfortunately, I think you can make a case for that. So guys, I need you to subscribe to the channel. I need more ad rev. I am hemorrhaging money on my Real Short account. I am draining my fucking pockets. I have got to get to the end of billionaire rugged CEO has boned my alpha ex-wife and now she's pregnant. I need to see the end of this, dude. I just wanted to rant about that. Thanks for listening. Everything's a casino. Everything sucks. I'll see you again on the next one. Goodbye.